2nd. Too bad you didn't have it before that.
Well, the next week's, the week before that's Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Well, so,
So,
You
yeah.
want to change that?
I have to work on the holiday.
Are we getting double time,
No,
time and a half?
yes.
Oh, okay, I don't feel sorry for you.
delegation has meetings on holidays. We still have to come.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you can't talk me into it. I'd like to
Okay.
get it done and get looking at it, and begin working on it.
So that's why you wanted to do it earlier.
Yeah.
And you're
Well, there wasn't any
late.
time to do it, really. You gotta notify them, and then you gotta.
Okay, next week, we'll hear again from Sandy as to some changes she's gonna make. We might be able to get some, union contracts, I'm sure won't be done because they're not gonna meet again until the 29th, and that's gonna be too late to get it into this year's budget. That's their problem, not gonna be my problem. They have plenty of notification that we were gonna have union contracts coming up. And the union person from representing the union, their so-called attorney or negotiator, has problems on meeting dates. That's gonna be their problem. I tried to explain to him that if union contracts can be done by next week, actually, then we can put it in our budget like we've done in the past. I think it's just a little more difficult to have to act on union contracts separately from our regular budget, but that may be the case this year.
Who's negotiating?
What's that?
Who's doing the negotiation?
I am. With the attorney that we had 3 years ago. Not the same one we had 2 years ago. Okay, I guess next week we will hear from the nursing home, and we will look over the whole budget, and I think if we can, the three of us can look at it again between now and then. We may have everybody come back next week, and we'll say where we're recommending any other reductions. I haven't totaled it up. Some of them look pretty good, some of them are under, but yet the wages are not in most of them. So, with that said, I guess at this point in time, have you got anything else you want to bring up? Okay. We do have a request to have a non-public dealing with the county attorney, but do we have any public comments? Yes.
So I understand Captain Myers has left.
He retired yesterday.
Or he resigned.
Retired.
I'm not going to get into whether he resigned or retired. He is not under our employment as of yesterday.
Prior to that, was there any change of his status? Was there any administrative leave?
I can't count on that either. I can't comment on it, I should say, not count on it.
Okay. So, now that he was in a rather dramatic non-public a couple weeks back, now that he's no longer an employee, has that issue been resolved?
No, it has not. And I'm not going to comment any more about it. You got something else you'd like to bring up?
Well, it's about that, but it's a different question.
No.
It's just like interviewing Bill Belichick, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll let someone else take a crack at maybe.
Mr. Babson, you had your hand up.
Yes, I did. Mr. Chairman, it's been about a year since we implemented the, my gosh, I forget, the Comcast, the new...
Chronos system?
Yeah. And it was going to save us a lot of money. It cost us a lot of money. Is there any, have we determined whether it's saving us money or how it's working? And it's a year
To be
now.
honest with you, I haven't looked into it. Has any other commissioners looked into it? No.
Nope.
We will look into it.
Could you do that and give us some idea whether it's working the way it was sold to us?
It
or whether it isn't?
hasn't been in effect a full year, but
Didn't it go
close
in
enough.
about didn't we do the first quarter of last year?
I want to say February or
Practice.
March it went into effect.
Oh, you're right, it was practice the first
Yeah.
3 months
Yeah.
of the year, that's
We
right.
had, we had training the
Yeah.
first.
And we do, somebody asked a question about the windmill,
Right, the wind test.
yeah,
Yeah.
the wind gauge. Jerry Gagney has that information. We haven't had a chance to talk with him.
I'll give you at least 2 weeks to figure out when I ask.
Thank you. Maybe I'll be on vacation by then.
We know you're home.
There'll be another couple of weeks. No, I won't be home. I'm going out of the country. Anybody else got any public input? Yes?
Has the Cybertron contract been signed yet?
Cybercon, no, it runs out in March.
Oh, it does, okay. And when is the RFP for the piping due back?
Well,
The bid for the piping?
I
Today,
gave you the wrong information. I was told that the RFP went out and it was supposed to be back on the 16th.
Right.
Because the feds got involved with the piping and the purchasing of the boilers, it has to go out under federal specifications. We've had problems getting feedback from them as to exactly how it should be worded, so it has not gone out. Kathy Gary has been after them.
Because of
That's
the
what I
feds,
said.
certain things had to be supplied by American manufacturers, things like that.
Well, it was very specific. It was gonna be a lot of work for Kathy, that grant,
No, which grant?
for the, that whole grant that we got for
Yeah.
energy systems.
That money is no problem. That has been used. I mean, that's not a problem. But because the grant affected that project, then the feds we have to go by federal regulations as to the rest, to complete the project.
Right, to hook
Okay.
everything up and do all that.
And because the, the Davis-Bacon wages, the state legislature has changed those, and so they're a lot more expensive than they were a year ago. I think they went in effect the 1st of January, or there's some date, I don't know what it was. But because of that, now the wages are going up, and that's probably why it's 300,000.
Okay.
Just, Maureen, you said it was all done.
Well, the grant.
Well, Mike, but what about the 300,000?
No, that's not done.
Well, that's what I was, what?
Yeah,
That's-
That's not a done deal.
That's what we're talking about right
Right.
now, is
Right.
to put it out for bid. But we have to go by the Fed's wording because it's part of the project.
And I don't know if you guys read the letter that was in the Conway Sun today.
I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I just have, he said he got quotes on all these figures from the administration office.
Quotes like what?
Well, he's
Salaries.
quoting salaries. So you can just call up and ask for that information as a private citizen?
Salaries is
Or do
public.
you guys supply that information?
I think a while ago, he came here and he was requesting some information. That's been months ago.
It's
I mean, does he
it's
ever
public
call you guys
information.
and ask you specifically for information?
Didn't ask me.
Doesn't ask me.
Did he ask you?
No.
Who are we talking about?
Well, then who did he ask? You said he came in a couple months ago. Who did he ask?
Kathy Gary, he had information.
It's all I can say. It's public information.
He's coming here to meetings and you can go down and get the information.
Oh, I don't have a doubt about that.
I
Well, I
guess.
guess, just the way he's put it together, it's just like,
I haven't had a chance to read it, so I can't comment on it. Yes, Mr. Babson.
Mr. Chairman, at what point do we get to cut the umbilical cord with the federal government on this heating project? Are we going to have to go out for a bid for the pellets? Are we going to have to
No.
abide by their
No.
requirements because
No.
they paid to put the thing in? Where does it end?
My understanding, we get 10 tons of pellets to start up, and we purchase the rest.
That was just an
10 ton is
example.
included in the
does-
contract.
Where does their responsibility of telling us how we can do our project end?
Once the project is finished.
once the project is
I would
finished.
think when the pipe
Once
was
it's hooked
buried,
up
didn't we get
and
the money
running?
for the pipe, or did we get the money for the
We got the money.
burner too?
We
Yes,
got the
well,
furnace and we got the money for the pipe. That's all
So
been
that
taken
would-
care of.
So that would
There
come
you go,
under
Rick.
it, yeah.
Anything else? Yeah.
In the beginning of the meeting, I did talk about the delegation and the request that you take the money from the budget. And I really would like to poll you, the three of you, whether you think the delegation overstepped its bounds in dictating where you had to get the money. Because it's not something you can discuss amongst yourselves, and I have a feeling you need to make a decision on how you're gonna go about getting the money. I mean, we had one example today, and it wasn't harsh or anything, but there are concerns from the one department head that knew that this was gonna happen. This is fair and equitable. I look at the county commissioner's job is to run county government efficiently. I think that the personally, and this is me personally, just as a citizen of Carroll County, I think the delegation overstepped its bounds. And I think that the restrictions that they put on you are going to force you to do bad management. So I really would like just to poll the board to find out whether or not you think that you're willing to step up and say, no, we're going to take, this is an ancillary use. The use of this truck is ancillary to the construction project, and we're going to take the money out of that discretionary fund, because I think that's where it should come from.
I don't know if I want to.
Unfortunately, the three of you can't get together and discuss this.
I know
We need to
that.
discuss
I know.
it in public, so I am gonna push this a little bit. And if you don't wanna do it this week, if you wanna cogitate a bit on it and answer, but you can't talk to each other about it as a board.
My personal feeling all along was that we take it out of the
Contingency.
The contingency.
contingency money.
Right. Dottie?
I had always expected to do that.
Okay, Representative Kenny?
Commissioner Kenny?
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I beg your pardon.
Yes, because I was told, or I was made to believe that there was no money left in the budget to buy the truck.
So you
So
think
that's why
using the contingency fund to purchase the truck would be a reasonable use of that?
That's
money?
why I thought $26,000 can maybe come out from there.
Okay. Thank you.
We've been criticized, and I remember seeing a letter in the paper saying that, the commissioners are not working and it's a fight going on between the commissioners and the delegation. And that was, I believe, within this past year. It bothers me a little bit that that's the way it looks, and that's true. I wish we could work a lot closer.
It's much easier.
It's just seems to be impossible because they have their agenda and we have ours. And as you say, they appropriate the money and we manage it. And I still would go that we use that funding out of the new nursing home. Like I said earlier, I know we could use it for items that are listed in that line item budget
Right.
that we approved, and we approved the bottom line. For example, that $100,000 to demolish the portion of the nursing home. I think we could add to that and take the whole thing down if we had to. Use it the funds out of that category. They saw fit not to say that. I guess my feeling is maybe we need to get a legal opinion as to who can use it after it's been approved and what it can be used for. I think the chairman of the delegation wasn't sure. She seemed to think that the delegation had to approve it.
And the other way of looking at this is that apparently the three of you agree that you could take it out of the contingency fund, is to go ahead and do that, and if they want to legally prove, you couldn't let them do it. I mean, once, if you're gonna, it's not, it isn't essential that you get the legal opinion. The three of you have been elected to run the county. If in your opinion the sensible way to do this and the legal way to do this is to take it out, I think you should do what you think's right.
But there's checks and balances, that the way I look at it. Sure, we can go against the delegation, but in the long run, is that the best way to do it? I mean, they can reduce our budget someplace else.
Okay, and if they do that out of the peak, they do it out of peak,